I have to wait in the queue? Okay, if you insist. So I work at a small gardens center and we have a system where if the queue is getting too long, the person on tills calls on the radio to open another till. Basically, means that staff can be doing other things when there aren't enough customers to justify having 2/3/4 tills open. I'm sure you can guess where this is going already. Over the last week or so, it's been absolutely baking by UK standards, and to top it off, our till area is what used to be the main greenhouse before the site got expanded. Old greenhouse, little airflow, scorching weather, it was hot as balls in there. This was causing a combination of angry customers and exhausted staff, and to top it off, our uniform is more what you'd call guidelines than an actual uniform. Navy polo, toe-capped boots and you're good to go. So when I get the call for a second till, there's about 3 or 4 groups in the queue and I go to walk past the queue with some sweets, to keep me sweet, and my water bottle, to go to the tills. Until a 6 rugby player looking type at the back of the queue puts his arm to stop me. What follows went something a little like this. Oi mate. Don't you know what a queue is? Me, but I'm. No buts. You don't get to skip. Me, I'm just going. I don't care. You wait like the rest of us. At this point, with this guy getting pretty angry and turning a very deep shade of crimson, I look at the till with an exasperated look, catch my colleague's eye and just go fine then. And wait. It was too hot to argue over this and I wasn't going to risk this getting physical. My colleague with a knowing smile picks up her radio and says, "Can I have another till please?" I don't think Caridor can make it. No one arrives, probably due to a combination of radio issues, brakes colliding and not my problem. So, we wait. Only takes about 5 minutes to get to the front, but angry dude is getting redder by the second. So, he goes up to be served with a loud "finally." I'm now in the front of the queue, go up to my till, log in and call out, "Can I help anyone on this side?" There was a loud "Are you ducking with me?" from angry dude, but my colleague was quick to loudly point out that I did try and explain several times, that he got very aggressive with me for doing so and was honestly lucky we were serving him at all. He decided to just leave rather than embarrass himself any further. Left his purchases on the desk and just left. I'm glad I didn't get in trouble for that one, but it was a fun bit of MC. Now to the comments. Not the same, but this reminds me of a time I was working at the cash at a dollar store and called for help, very loudly, probably every 2 minutes. The line was humongous. My manager finally shows up and starts berating me for not calling for help, and some of the people in line butted in and said she did call, several times, and defended me. After the line was dealt with, my manager told me to call louder next time and took zero responsibility. Those customers made my day though. This happened with me. The till supervisor had an agreement that she'd go off at 5, pick her daughter and husband up and take them home and be back by 6, and that would be her break. We never had any problem with it. One day, the manager forgot and went out for a quick cigarette. I had a queue going down one aisle, round the corner, and down the next. I called the floor supervisor over and asked if he'd been till trained yet, and he hadn't. He quickly ran out to the boss's car and got her in, and she came in and asked at me for not calling anyone. I told her the supervisor had gone off to do what she does. It's just her and I present that are till trained. We've had more people till trained since. Due to COVID capacity limits, my store has a lineup outside most of the time, but obviously staff just goes right inside so we can clock in and get to work. I've lost count of how many people have gotten angry with me for skipping the line, and I just reply I work here, or the greeter has to tell them and calm them down, lol. After too many occurrences, I would just start dance walking into the store whenever it happens. Reminds me of a joke I heard about a guy trying to open his store after advertising a great sale, but he keeps getting blocked by the angry line waiting for the store to open. I saw that joke play out many years ago IRL when I was a teen working at a large toy store franchise. I believe Cabbage Patch Dolls had been advertised before the holidays. Our general manager had to come out the back door, around the building to the front, and call his employees to him because the crowd wouldn't let any of us get close to the front door we normally entered. Similar happened to me on a Black Friday. Store was to open at 6 a.m. Staff was scheduled to arrive at 530. By 5 a.m., the line was insane. This was the year Keurig became popular, and the store I worked at had a special of buying a 16-pack of K-Cups. Each one had 8 to 12, and you got a free Keurig. Crowd absolutely would not let the staff through. Most of us were there by 5:15 a.m. Here we all were, in red and khaki, and not one person had enough sense to let us get to the doors. At 5:35, the store manager came outside because he had no staff. He's met by at least 200 people trying to push past him. He quickly ducked back in the store and called the police for crowd control. We had to have a police escort to get inside. Store opened on time, but barely. I had the largest single sell of the day at 8 a.m. 4 carts, $12,000, $12,000. I have refused to work a Black Friday since. Fire me, I will not work or shop on that day. I will be forever grateful that I worked for a little mom-and-pop hardware store rather than a big chain. They were always closed on Black Friday because they didn't want to come in after a day of binge eating with the family any more than the rest of us did. Heard a similar story from my stepmom. Her ex-husband was a bus driver, and while walking to his bus to open the door, one of those types of guys told him that there's a line and he had to wait like the rest of them. He said okay and stood in the back. Some minutes later the same guy loudly complained the driver wasn't there yet. He piped up with "I'm right here, but you wouldn't let me walk up and open the door." Guy was embarrassed and kept quiet after that as he walked up and unlocked the door. As someone who went to buy plants today and walked out with 2 lavenders and a succulent, heavily watered by my sweat, I thank you for your dedication, haha. No way I could spend more than 10 minutes in a garden center today. OP replied, I can't blame you. It's genuinely hell in there. The only way I can bear it is by having one of those Mr. Spray bottles that people use for orchids and things full of water. Mist myself down every few minutes. Treat yourself like you would treat a fern. Oh, this happened at a stupid mall chain store. Around 2000, normally just unlock the gate key myself in and go about my part of opening. Except, multiple angry octogenarians fighting with each other because a new set of Beanie Babies dropped. Me, excuse me, I need to get past. I need to open the store. They were yelling I was lying and trying to get in first and buy all the Beanie Babies. Finally I was just like, suit yourselves. No cell phones. Now I'm 15 minutes late. The store gets fined if they weren't open on time. Manager comes out and she is pissed because now she thinks she's covering my shift too. She sees me basically blockaded. I had tried to get past again. They were ducking with my paycheck. She says, have you been here this whole time? Yay, sigh. Lol. She yells at them to let me through, so after I get through the gate, they tried to follow me. They just about got hit when she slammed the gate and locked it. Told them they could just wait since they wouldn't let me in. Ancient people almost first fighting over a small stuffed creature. It was ridiculous. I never worked a true retail or food-based customer service job, but I've been working in the medical field for 6+ years, mostly long-term care environments. This has given me more than enough experience with old people to completely understand what retail workers are always talking about. Old people are disproportionately prone to having the loudest, belligerent, stubborn, and angry reactions over the most trivial and petty things you could ever think of, and they will take it out on others around them. Not all of them, but in my experience, it's enough of them that you always have to worry about it. I worked order entry over the phone at QVC for 2 years, which is basically online retail with the target audience being middle-aged and elderly women, and can definitely confirm this. I cannot begin to tell you the number of times I had 80-plus-year-old women calling at all hours of the day just to complain about what the host on TV was wearing, or that they don't like the nail color the host has on. There were daily complaints on the smallest details of the sets, hosts, models, and of the products on screen they didn't even plan on purchasing. I've been in a situation multiple times where someone thought I was lying when I would say I worked in a completely different state and cannot just get out of my chair and walk up to the host live on TV to tell her she has a flyaway hair. We had to take each complaint seriously, of course, and report it in our system. I don't know how I managed to work 10-hour days there without going insane.